What's up, everybody? Renfail here, and we are back with another Baldur's Gate 3 guide for the Rogue, which is one of my favorite classes in every CRPG I ever play, and I traditionally will play one of these when I actually play tabletop as well. And today we're covering Sneak Attack, which is one of the things that a Rogue does that no one else can do. And it's changed a lot over the years. Like, I still personally prefer the way it was back in the day with Thaco, and it was just a very simple thing where, level 1, you times whatever, and then you level up and you do times 2, then you do times 3, you do times 4, you do times 5, and you get multiple versions of being able to do that double attack damage on the backstab. And you used to have to only be able to, you could used to only be able to do it with daggers, but now you can do it with finesse weapons and all this other stuff, and it's very much based in 5th edition on positioning and having advantage on the mob. So those two things are very important to understand about Sneak Attack. We're going to dive into this. We're going to show you a combat scenario in the game today where we cover all that in greater detail. So if you want to know more, this is the beginner's guide. If you already know this stuff and you're an expert at 5th edition, this guide might not necessarily have anything for you, but if you want to add something to the conversation, please drop those comments down in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Don't forget we're live every day at 11 a.m. with streams. Join the Discord, links are down there. Check out all the member videos up above. And of course, check out all the other playlists because we do way more than just Baldur's Gate 3. But for now, let's go ahead and dive into Sneak Attack and see what it's like in a combat scenario as well as a non-combat scenario. Alright, folks, so here we are in one of the earliest encounters you're going to find in the game. As soon as you get off the ship and you've gathered your initial party members, you're going to come up to these ruins that were shown throughout early access and in all the promotional material, so no one can claim spoilers because this has been out there for more than 3 years. But this is one of the first encounters you'll come across, and you have a variety of options here. Now, I'm going to be showing you on mouse and keyboard as well as the controller. So this is the ultimate guide for a reason. So the mechanics are the exact same. It's just how does the UI look and how do you do it. So there's a couple of things you want to worry about here. If you're in a pre-combat scenario like we are right now, the smartest thing to do is to separate your character out from the rest of the party. So we can go into group mode like this and get my guy out and just single target him from here. And now we can go, okay, I want to move him down. Now, I don't want to go in here quite yet because I need to be sneaking. So let's go ahead and make sure we sneak down first. And from here, we can see that we get the red POV that we are allowed to show us when something can see us or not. Now, the line of sight for the caster has now moved because she has moved away. But I'm going to wait for her to come back really quick so they can show you what we're looking at here. But essentially, if you want to perform a sneak attack out of combat, it's very important that you avoid the red. Now, if you don't know what the red is, that is the line of sight for the mob, the point of view of the mob. She's coming back around now. She just turned around, and she should be coming back around again. And then she'll look in this direction, and then she will path back again. Here she comes. So you can see that across the way. They're going to look in this direction now. And now you saw the red just popped up in front of me. If I move into that red, I have to roll a check against my hide skill or my sneak skill. Now, if I have my sneak skill high enough, I can avoid being detected even within that red area, which is why you should always let your rogue do the sneaking, because you might come across times when you need to go in the red because you're going from one corner to another and you can't completely avoid out of the line of sight. So if you don't know how to do this on mouse and keyboard, you hit the C button to go crouch and go into hide. And let me back out of here so that we don't accidentally get seen, and I'll show you what it looks like on the controller as well. So here we are on the mouse and keyboard. The C button hides us and unhides us. And it does take a minute for that animation to trigger, but we are hiding and unhiding. Now, if you want to do this on the controller, we're going to switch over to the controller UI. You just hold down on the thumb pad like so, and that puts you into sneak. And to hold down again, you come out of sneak. And this applies if you're with your party. It's this will do the whole party. Slightly different if you're going to be doing it on the mouse and keyboard, because it's Shift C. There's also a button if you're on the mouse and keyboard, everybody, over on the left-hand side. Let's get back to the mouse and keyboard here and show you what that looks like, just so you need to know. There's a button here for toggling group hide right here on the left. There's also one to target group mode, so, but you can target the whole group if the group is together. Let's get them together and show you what that looks like really quick. Very rarely are you going to need to have your whole group with you when you are sneaking into a camp, but just in case you do, it'll look like that. Let's go ahead and toggle the group mode back. Let's move back down here. So, the first rule of sneak attack is that you can only use sneak attack if you have advantage on the mob. If you hover over it, it will say sneak attack melee. Deal extra damage to a foe you have advantage against. Also works if you have an ally within 1.5 meters of the target and you don't have disadvantage. Again, this is what it looks like on the mouse and keyboard. If you want to look at it on the controller, you would need to bring it up in the radial menu and like so. And then to go in here, excuse me, it's this one. And then hit R to inspect. And here's what this looks like on the controller. Deals extra damage to a foe you have advantage against. Also works if you have an ally within 1.5 meters of the target and you don't have disadvantage. So that is the important component number one. You have to have advantage against the mob. Having advantage against the mob generally is only going to happen at the start of combat when you surprise them or during specific times during combat encounters when you might be able to successfully disengage and do some other fun stuff with spells and potions and the like. But as a general rule, it's going to be at the beginning of a combat encounter, before they have seen you, before you have entered into combat, you'll be able to trigger a sneak attack because we have advantage against the target. Now, also when they are surprised, you will generally have advantage on them. But let's go ahead and check this out here. We're going to notice that when I hover over it on the controller version of sneak attack, so I brought the radial menu up, I selected sneak attack, and when I hover over the character, it says I have a 96% chance to land my sneak attack, and I have advantage currently, which is what that plus up green arrow means. Alright, now what does it look like on the mouse and keyboard? Let's switch back over to the mouse and keyboard. If you go down here and select your sneak attack, hover over once you've selected it, make sure to move your icon over the mob, and from here you would simply click and we would attack that mob. But let's go ahead and go back to the controller because I prefer the controller. So let's go ahead and do a sneak attack here. Okay, now we did not kill him, but he is surprised, as is everyone else. Now since he is surprised, in this case, I must have advantage against the target. It doesn't count even though he's surprised now. Now, if I go move over the other things too, it says you must have advantage against target. So they've entered into a combat state. So I can't use it currently because I don't have advantage and I don't have anyone else within 1.5 meters. However, here's the most interesting thing about doing it this way. Because I initiated in the middle of a combat sequence, the rest of my party is not engaged in combat. So, what I can do is I can bring Lae'zel up, because she's not in combat yet, and I can come up here and position her. Now, I'm not going to attack with her at the moment, because all I want to do is get her into position so that she's within 1.5 meters of the mob. Then I'm going to go back to my dude. And you're going to notice now when I trigger sneak attack, I can now use it. And I have an 80% chance because I have someone that is within 1.5 meters. I have an ally within 1.5 meters. So what does it mean you only have an 80% chance? Well, if you want to know more about what's going on, you can inspect. If you don't know how to inspect on the controller, you just hit down on the thumb pad. Just quickly tap it. If you are on the mouse and keyboard, alright, so in order to inspect with the keyboard, for some reason I said K, it's not K, it's the T button, brings up the inspect with the mouse and keyboard, and you can go down here and you can go in to see, what are their various stats and resistances that they have. They're surprised right now, no major resistances, but 12 armor class, which again, this represents roughly an 80% chance to be able to land based on my current attacks and everything else. So again, mouse and keyboard, go into sneak attack from here, go back into controller, do it from here. We're going to do another sneak attack here, and bam! Now he's down. Now technically, I'm still in a combat scenario here, but what I want to do is I want to, in this case, do a hide. Now, because I don't have a normal hide available because I've already used an action, this is where we get into cunning actions, which we covered in a guide the other day. I have cunning actions related to disengage, hide, and dash. And we actually want to do the cunning action hide. So this puts us into a hide state, and we can come over here, like for example, into the corner and wait here. Now, quick commercial break, everyone, to give a shout out to our first official guild officer, Bubbalonia, as well as all of the guild champions, and of course, all of the members who help keep me on the air full time. To join as a member, simply click that join button below and pick your tier, but you can also support with Super Chats on any live stream or premiere, or Super Thanks on any upload or YouTube short. Don't forget the Discord. Let's get back to the video. Alright, so now we've entered into a combat scenario as if we were surprised or we just stumbled upon something for the first time. And now comes the chance for me to actually see if I can't do this in the middle of a combat scenario to show you what this looks like when you do it for real. So the first thing I would have to do is try to figure out if there's a way for me to get through the red to get to a mob. And I currently can't because they are all facing in this direction because they're all facing Lae'zel. Okay, so what I need her to do is I need her to run down into the middle of this room here and take a few hits and draw the attention of the mobs away so that I can get past the line of sight. Okay, so we've moved her up, and basically she just needs to hunker down and try not to die here. So we're going to skip everybody else's turn. Hopefully Lae'zel stays alive long enough for me to show you what this looks like. Remember, it's all about positioning. You have to have the line of sight of the mob in question, the NPC, the monster, needs to be facing away from your rogue character so that you can manage to get into the room without being seen, because that red cone, that line of sight, breaks your hide. So, it's turned around. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. However, this one right here can still see me. It's still looking in this direction. However, I'm close enough, I might be able to get a sneak attack off melee. If I had a bow, I could get a ranged sneak attack off from here. But I don't currently have a bow equipped, so let's see if I can make this attack without being seen. Yep. Can manage to do that. And now what I want to do really quick is back out again, because the line of sight I know doesn't extend through this door, and I can go into cunning action hide. Boom. Alright.
You will not take me.
She needs some help. She actually needs it. Let's see if I can get her up here to drop a heal on Lae'zel. Oh, I have to be closer.
Take
Time to push my luck again.
Alright, now from here, the ideal thing would be to try to get back in here and see if I can't get into a good position. But the issue is that Shadowheart's right in the doorway, so I'm seeing her line of sight as well. But if you look down at the floor, there's varying levels of red. So this second level of red, which is even higher and more brighter than this section, is because that's the mob. So if it's stacked vision. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm staying within Shadowheart's POV right now, but nobody else's. So technically none of the mobs saw me yet. Oh, it says my hide was successful. That's good. So the goal here would be, if possible, try to get my rogue around to get behind this character over here, so that I can take out the guys in the back. But if I can't, then you just sneak up here and do it here. But this is where when you get later into the game, you get spells like Dimension Door, where you can take a party member with you. So you can like have your caster and the rogue Dimension Door around the battlefield and just take out the ranged characters while your melee stay up front. So there's a lot of ways that you can use sneak attack to your advantage. But it is highly based on using the disengage, the cunning action disengage, the cunning action hide, getting out of line of sight, positioning the mobs so that you can get the best advantage from a distance if possible. But when all else fails, all you got to do is have somebody within 1.5 meters, have an ally that's close to you, and now we can run in, and even though we might lose advantage from a hide, we can still get up in here and do a sneak attack because, you know, we're within that distance, and so on and so forth. Well, hopefully that gives you a little more information on how to use sneak attack to your advantage. When you're looking at it from the early stages like this, you don't have a lot of abilities that allow you to position yourself around the battlefield. But later on, as you get access to things like Dimension Door and Misty Step, you'll be able to very quickly and easily put yourself into better positions where you get the line of sight covered, which allows you to quickly go back into hide and then move around the battlefield and always find yourself at an advantageous advantage against, that sounded stupid, but always find yourself with advantage against the mobs, even if you don't have an ally within 1.5 meters. Otherwise, you can just literally just keep your rogue up there in the middle of the main combat scenarios with your primary tank and just have them focus on running around the outside perimeter of that encounter, because you could use disengage to your advantage and constantly avoid getting hit while you run around behind the next guy, stab him, run around behind the next guy, stab him, run around behind the next guy, stab him, or choose to use your ranged sneak attack from a distance. Either way are great options. I chose to show the melee here because that's the more complex. Ranged is the same principle, it's just you don't have to worry so much about positioning because you're from a distance, so it's much easier to do your positioning when you're doing ranged. If you like the guide, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Daily streams at 11 a.m. Central. We do lots of other things. Check out the playlists. Private videos for members are here on the channel as well, and don't forget the Discord. Links are down below. I'll see everybody in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Happy gaming.